keep your compliments to yourself.
Compliment.
I don't want them.
They're complimentary.
Hello and welcome to Requiem for a Tuesday. It is I, your boy, Adam Pecora here with Georgie Richter, the sidekick.
Howdy, hey.
How's it going?
That's going good, man. Having a good day. How about you?
You know, can't complain.
Cool.
Having a good time.
Tight.
Before we get into the show, usual plugs.
Yep.
Rate, review, subscribe to this show wherever you're listening, and in places you're not listening. You know, you got the apps. Just go on there and do it anyway. Okay. We got music, Multiplex, WolfX, streaming everywhere. Go check that stuff out. Follow me on Instagram, adam.rfat. We got merch, rfat.bigcartel.com. Okay? You know what it is. So go do that. I would also like to announce that I pledge to get 8 rub and tugs in solidarity with the victims of the Atlanta shootings.
It's very kind.
You know, I gotta support the people. Stop Asian hate.
It's thoughtful. I like it.
It just seems like the right thing to do.
Yeah.
I gotta support the cause.
I can get behind that for sure. I might join you in that.
You know, I encourage everybody to.
Yeah.
They're a lot closer than you think, everybody.
Yeah.
Wherever you're at.
Tip good.
Now, it's in solidarity, you know. Couple things left out of Road Sodas. If you didn't listen to Road Sodas, go listen to Road Sodas 2-part series.
These like deleted scenes or bullet points you didn't get to?
Just one thing we didn't get to in the first one because Justice derailed the story.
Really?
Was when we almost ran out of gas in South Dakota. So what happened was we were rolling through South Dakota, ripping through it, no problem. Now we had left where our hotel was with like 3/4 tanks of gas. And I myself had made the point like we shouldn't leave anywhere for a long stretch without a completely full tank just in case.
Yeah, you always want to make sure you have gas. That's the biggest fear.
Yeah, and I was just like 3/4, that should be fine. And we were just hightailing it. And then there was just like, oh, it's getting pretty low, huh? And it's like, yeah, it is getting pretty low. And then there was just like no signs anywhere. But then out of nowhere, it's like 1880 town. But all the signs say closed, closed, closed. I guess there's like some little country town that's only open in the warm seasons.
And it looks like the 1880s.
Yeah, I guess so. But they had a gas station.
Cool. Like you
So
then
then
yourself.
all the signs kept saying closed, closed, closed. And then there was one that just said gas station X amount of miles. And we got our hopes up, but it was just for the 1880 town one. So it was closed.
It's like there's a gas station in a Six Flags.
So then there was one that was like the exact amount of mileage left that we had in the tank. Like we were like at the line and it was like 40 miles or something. You know, like it was something crazy. And it was like we definitely only have like 1 gallon of gas left.
Oh, that's a lot.
And so we happened to roll to the exact exit. The engine is like clanking because we're like below the line and we're going like 90, you know, because we're on the interstate. So it is just like eating gas.
You can hear the difference.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, it may have been in our heads. Maybe we just turned the music off and
the
like
Mickey Mouse kind of broken down car sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know to the effect of that. And then, so it is just like it's not even a town. It's not even really it's not even remotely a modern gas station. And it's still pretty early in the morning and it's like winter still there. It's like 30 something degrees. Like everything's covered in snow.
Yeah, so maybe people are just inside anyway.
It's abandoned though. The gas station just has a sign that says like pumps are turned on, like handwritten. And they were so weird and old, we couldn't get them to work. And you had to like do your card a certain way and then do this a certain way. And we almost ran out of gas. But luckily we ended up getting it to work. There was like a stray dog just roaming around.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't stray. I think it had a collar on. But still, it was just roaming around.
I'll
and
look it up.
I was like, dude, if we can't get this pump to work, we're going to have to get that dog to lead us to people.
Oh, man. Yeah, like a Lassie situation.
Because that would have been it. Like, we would have been able to get back on the highway and go like 1 mile. And then we would have just like tanked out. So, but it worked out. So that was great. Everything ended up working out real nice. And then I just didn't mention that we went to Red Rocks because that was nice.
Yeah, nice.
You know, wish there was an event going on there.
Yeah,
But
something to see.
yeah, to see it as a venue, but like incredible, venue in the side of the mountain, brilliant idea. It seems like even not seeing a show, there got to be the best venue of all time.
Yeah.
Just like, come on. And then just our exit into Kansas City was, we were exiting onto, it was either exit number 420
Nice.
or we were exiting onto 420, and we were like on Route 69.
Whoa, the
Yeah.
intersection of 420 and 69.
Incredible note.
Wow. That's probably where like a lot of
So-
UFO abductions happen.
So, yeah.
Charged area.
That was all I had for that. That concludes Road Sodas. There will be another one coming soon. I booked a spontaneous train trip to New York City, so that's going to be exhausting. I'm sure I'll have a lot to say about that.
I bet. Yeah, I'm very excited for that.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. I'm leaving in 3 weeks from this recording.
Whoa.
So
Pack your bags, folks. He's going on the road.
coming soonish. Look forward to that.
Cool. Is it like a big like bed chair? Like what's your seating situation?
No, so I mean it's better than a plane seat by like a lot, but it's not much different than that. Like it's just a much beefier, more comfortable version of a plane seat.
Oh, 'cause I imagine like a murder mystery, kind of like you're gonna get your own train.
Now,
car.
see, well, the thing is, I'm assuming with COVID, you're definitely not sitting next to anybody. So I'll definitely have a double to myself, which is huge. My guess is I'm pretty sure the seats face each other as well. Like it's 2 and 2 facing each other. So my guess is you might get 4 to yourself.
That whole little pocket.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then it should be pretty easy. I could lay across the seats and sleep. I've done that before. I've taken Amtrak to like 8-hour distance is the longest, I think.
Not bad.
But this is going to be a long one. It's like 20 hours. It's going to be pretty brutal.
So it's not like a train car, like with a little slidey door. You're just like kind of sitting in a bunch of rows of seats, right? I'm imagining it wrong.
No, it's not like a hard day's night.
Yeah. How do you?
This
get,
isn't England.
how do you
we
get
don't have
those?
trains like that
What-
here.
Oh,
This isn't Europe.
I know. I want to do like a hotel trip.
Well, they have cars that have rooms in them. Yeah, they're like expensive as shit. That's like $400. Just get a plane ticket.
yeah. I know, but-
Technically, what I did is more expensive than flying as well. I just, I got precious cargo. I got things to do. And, what a great rail system that we, made a bunch of people make.
Yeah. There you go. Gotta see the sights. Gotta use it all.
Yeah, I'm riding the rails across the plains
Just
or
don't touch
whatever.
the third rail. It's powered by electricity.
That's not a thing. Train, no.
Pretty sure.
I don't want to talk about your dumb train thing.
Theory.
It's not. It's barely even a
I
theory.
teach train theory.
Yeah, let's not. Anyway, so the time has finally come. We're here. We've arrived at the moment. Been teasing it for a while now. It's the Michael Mann episode.
Man, oh man.
Pretty exciting stuff. The guy's a legend.
Truly.
You don't know.
I know enough.
For the listeners, I told Mr. Richter here to just, maybe watch 1, maybe 2, if he could. 3, however many, possible. He watched 0.
I did
You
learn
know,
how to flip the spatula.
Lack of effort. We watched a little bit of Miami Vice
It was
prior
really
to
good.
this. Yeah, of course. That's why I'm doing this. Anyway, Michael Mann, Chicago guy, so near and dear to the heart. I'm going to do this in a little bit of a weird way.
Do what? Like you're
Well, we're going to go movie by movie.
okay.
But I think I'm just going to list them like this in order, and then I'm just going to go into my ranking, but we'll talk about them per ranking to mystify the reveal so you don't know what's coming.
Yeah, like a build up.
Correct.
Yeah, but we're not gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Correct. Well, we're
Nice.
going to count down from worst to best. But anyway, so here's a list. So things about Michael Mann. Great, just like expressionist camera work. Beautiful shots. A lot of crime, a lot of grit, a lot of realism. Like frequently has like people, like he just like consults with criminals. Consults with former police officers, current police officers. sends people on raids and stings, fabricated ones, if not whatever. Stunts, all about just putting you in a world and just really sucking you in,
I felt
making
that
it real,
immediately. Yeah,
making it very real.
it was really real.
Yeah. Always great music
Mm-hmm.
is a big thing. Score or soundtrack, usually pretty good. Just great tone, great visuals. What can I say? Incredible just crime skills across the board. He also, on side notes before we dive in, so was like a producer, creative guy, somewhat writer, involved in ways. Miami Vice, the television series. Never watched it. Known to me as the most 80s thing in history.
Yeah, that's the only thing I know about it as a reference to the 80s in general.
Yes. It's like the quintessential 80s thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I got. I'm not going to talk. He has some other show, like crime, more crime stuff. I don't know. About similar involvement, less impact. He did a TV movie called The Jericho Mile. It's like a prison sports movie. Has been called the greatest television film ever made. Haven't seen it. I'm sure it's good. How could it not be? I'm pretty sure it's what like launched his career and got Thief made. And also Heat.
Yeah.
One of his movies was a made-for-TV movie originally in like the late 80s.
And then it was remade as a blockbuster.
Yes.
Nice.
So I didn't watch that. I didn't bother. I don't even know if that's like available to watch anywhere. Seems inessential if I can watch Pacino, De Niro.
Yeah.
I think that does it for the honorable mentions. So Thief. So the other thing was, he's not like a huge box office success. Like half the time. Couple bombs in there.
Yeah.
Almost crazy that they kept letting him do it, and the budgets like just kept getting bigger anyway. Now, by all accounts, phenomenal guy, incredible talent. You got to think his TV success plays into it as well. He's also a very successful producer. He just knows what he's doing. And like the skill is undeniable. I think that's part of the thing with like David Lynch. Like his movies like never make any money, but he's just like so fucking good that every 15 years somebody's like, yeah, let him go.
Yeah, give him a go.
Yeah. So I think part of that's in there. So Thief, 1981, budget $5.5 million. That's pretty high.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 3.5, and I wrote that wrong. I feel like. Anyway, either way.
Can I see it?
No, it is 5.5. I wrote
okay.
it. It's not blurry. Gross 11.5. So nothing crazy. Doubled it up at the time. That's a huge thing. But that's not like money. Even for the 80s, that's still relatively low. Then he did The Keep, 1983, $6 million budget. It really bombed. Only made $3.5 million.
Dang.
Yeah, Manhunter, 1986. Again, didn't go very well. $15 million budget. $8.6 million gross. So he's hanging in there, but then here we go. 6 years later, The Last of the Mohicans. $40 million budget. $143 million gross. Big hit.
Yeah.
I think was a big awards darling as well. Oscar noms and such. I don't know about for him specifically, but.
I like awards darling. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good term.
Then we got Heat.
Yeah.
1995. Actually, interestingly, 11 months to the day after I was born.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They very halted production.
$60 million budget. $187 million gross. Now, that was a guarantee out of the park. With that cast, De Niro, Pacino, Kilmer, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
You got people jumping out of their seats.
That was it. That movie's registered as a lethal weapon for trademark purposes.
So then we got The Insider. Budget somehow $68 million, which is crazy. Only made 100. Depends on how much went into advertising. They probably didn't make much off of that, but it probably wasn't a loss at all. It's got to be decent. So, whatever. That also That was his biggest like Oscar movie, I believe. Most nominations like in total, and I think that's one of the only ones he's had, like for director.
Nice.
Yeah, then we had Ali, $118 million budget, which is massive, and only 87.7. It was a huge bomb.
Damn.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. Probably deserved to be. Honestly, it wasn't not his best.
Oh well.
Not his best.
It's probably time.
That's
from all
okay.
the
That's
other
okay.
hits.
Because follows it up with Collateral in '04,
Yeah.
which is a fucking hell of a movie.
What are you gonna do?
$65 million budget, 220 in the bank.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx, you can't go wrong. Then we got Miami Vice in '06, noted for its production troubles. We'll get into that. An insane, inflated, possibly larger than this if you include marketing and stuff. Don't know how much this is. $135 million budget
Wow.
for Miami Vice.
That's an expensive movie.
Only made 164. Pretty sure it was a big loss. Pretty sure, though, also, huge DVD life. Probably made the studio money in the end, long term. So,
bet.
good investment. Then we got Public Enemies. Great flick. 09, 100 mil, 214, bank. And now we're back into the negative. His most recent movie, Black Hat, 2015. $70 million budget, only made 19.
Ooh.
And probably deservedly so on that one also. We'll get into that. So, just to show the broad spectrum of Michael Mann, he started out indie guy, did some incredible things in that realm, blockbusters, incredible. Can do it all. Yeah, many different genres. So we're going to break it down. I'm doing rankings, okay?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Flipping through my notes here. You like that?
ASMR. How do you say that?
ASMR, yeah. Okay. Number 11 in the official Michael Mann rankings.
Here we go.
Black Hat.
There we go.
Yeah. I tried to watch this last night. I technically watched the whole thing. I mean, there were moments where I definitely stopped paying attention and it was on me, but there were moments where I was definitely paying attention and still just like, what happened? No.
Words.
Inconsistent in tone, speed.
Like choppy kind of.
Yeah, the story just isn't really there. Michael Mann likes to do this thing where he just forces a relationship into the movie. I don't know if it's because the studio wants him to, because everything he's doing is just so dark and grim and miserable that they're like, put something in here that somebody can relate to or something.
Open the blinds or something.
Because his whole thing that he's always trying to do is like, look at this criminal's life. Isn't it nuts? And it's just like all the worst things. Like good things don't really happen to anybody in his movies most of the time. And I don't know. The relationship in this one was especially awful. But I'm gonna say that a bunch of times, honestly, on this list. It just doesn't happen, and which is fine. We don't need it. But yeah, it's like about computer hacking, but like government stuff. But then there's also like all these themes and stuff in it. It's just a lot of things packed in. I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. Maybe I'll watch it again. Maybe I won't ever watch it again.
Yeah, maybe you're just not ready for it. The art of it.
Maybe.
It could just be the worst one. It's not impossible.
Yeah. I mean, I think as far as Rotten Tomatoes goes, it probably is the worst one. No, The Keep is probably the worst one. We'll get to that in a second, but not yet, because it's not even next on my list.
Oh, man. What is?
Unfortunately, number 10 is Ali.
Oh, no.
Now, here's the thing. Love Muhammad Ali, and I think that's the problem. It doesn't. So, I think Michael Mann loves Muhammad Ali and gets Muhammad Ali, but I think that he's not the guy to make the movie about him. Because it's beautifully shot, as nice as could be. Like, the thing with Michael Mann is, like, he's always had incredible shots and, like, beautiful visuals, but, like, whenever his budget went up, like, the production value goes with it every single time. So, like, when he can get his hands on, like, a better camera and better lights and better everything, like, it's perfect. Like, the shots in Ali are gorgeous. Now, the weird thing they recreate a bunch of the fights, which is like, I don't really get that because like you could watch the fights that they're recreating, so it's like weird. That's weird to me.
You think it would have been better if they used the fights?
No, because it's not a documentary. I don't really know any way around it. It's tough.
You think maybe just they did too many fights? Maybe just the one would have been fine.
No, because it's the most important part. It's just weird. It's just hard. I don't know. Like Raging Bull. Not only do I don't think that Martin Scorsese actually recreated any fights, but either way, like you wouldn't be able to watch the fights that are in that movie because they're so in the past.
Yeah, no cameras, but now
So it like adds something to it. Or like if there were cameras, they were so shitty and it was just like a wide shot and it's in like 110p.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Whatever the first increment of that was.
Right. And then I don't know. It's just like, you know, Muhammad Ali was so like fiery and energetic and like really charismatic and like, I don't know, Will Smith is like doing an impression of Muhammad Ali. Like, I don't know. His acting in it is really good, but he doesn't capture the charisma, which is weird because he's Will Smith.
Very charismatic, yeah.
Yeah, but like he like nails like the way he speaks and like his mannerisms and like honestly nails the way he boxed. I think, you know, I'm not a big like boxing analyst, so maybe he was terrible. I thought he looked good.
Yeah.
But he had none of the like fire behind any of it. Like even when he was like when the script was a joke that he was delivering, and like even if people responded with a joke, like with laughter, like if he was talking to the media,
It didn't feel like.
yeah, he delivered it like it was an intense, like dramatic line, like every time.
And it was supposed to be a little nonchalant joke at a press conference.
Yeah, yeah. It just didn't get like the little nuances of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's hard to do.
Yeah, because he had a playful relationship with like an ESPN guy.
And you didn't see any of that in the movie?
No, it is in the movie, but it never comes off as like, it seems like the other guy's joking, but it seems like Ali's just kind of being a dick.
Oh,
Like, because Will
like
Smith
dry
just doesn't,
kinda?
yeah, he just doesn't sell it right.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah, that
But
can dampen whole
there's
thing.
like a montage at the beginning where like Sam Cooke is singing and it's like him training and then it goes into his like big title win and it's like incredible. So like there's a lot of really good moments in it, but it just doesn't live up. It's almost like it's a eulogy.
Oh, yeah. that's
Like it
sad.
seems like something bad's going to like the tone of the movie seems like he's going to get murdered or like sick. You know what I mean? Like it seems like the movie's going to end in a somber way, but the end is like his title win against George Foreman. It's like the
Yeah.
highlight of his career.
Yeah, on a high note.
Like the whole movie is supposed to be a big celebration of him, but Michael Mann's tone is just naturally so depressing. Like it almost seems like he got in his own way.
Yeah, because you said good things don't normally happen to the characters in his movie.
Yeah, yeah, right.
What do I
So
do with
like
all these smiles?
when the negative things happen, they're played really well, but like whenever anything good happens, it doesn't even seem good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Wasn't for me.
Maybe that's why the pacing seemed like weird and out of place
Yeah, it's also a little too long.
of a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the runtime, you know?
Like 220. Most of his movies are pretty long.
Yeah, but when
The
they're
bulk of these are long.
like like edge of your seat kind of, you don't know.
Right, exactly. Like there's ones that deserve it and there's ones on the list that deserve it, but I mean no, I think it just fell flat. It was just. But again, like there's moments and just like the way it's filmed is great and like the boxing scenes are well done. Like I said, it's just weird. Like I would rather watch the real fight, you know. Because they do like really long sequences and it's like really cool and really impressive, but it's like there's actual footage of this, you know, of the fight happening for real.
Maybe like a mashup.
So yeah,
Maybe like a
no,
Will
I don't
Smith
know.
punch
There's
that
no
lands.
way to do it right in the movie because the whole movie would then have to incorporate other footage, and then it changes completely what it is. That's not right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's hard.
Fair.
It's hard.
It is.
So number 9 is The Keep. This would probably be a lot of people's last one. So this is like a weird horror movie that he made right after his first movie, Thief. It's based on this book. Basically, it's about this weird tomb thing. Or it's like some religious like churchy thing. And the Nazis are taking over it.
Cool.
But they like let this monster out, and then like the monster being let out like awakens this other guy, and he has to come like try to fight it basically. And then the monster is also trying to like manipulate this other guy into like letting him out, because the thing is like he's trapped in this room, and he's trying to manipulate the guy to get him to let him out, because he's telling the guy that it'll be for good, but really if he gets let out, like he'll try to like kill everybody or something.
Oh.
So yeah, it's like a sci-fi thriller, but it had a super low budget, like I said. So he did a lot with a small budget. The script wasn't great. He wrote it. He writes most of his movies, or at least co-writes most of them, if not all. Yeah, so I don't know. He didn't do that great with the script, but he also kind of did a lot with not that much, because like the visuals are clearly of their time, but they don't look as shitty as you would think. Like the effort was put in, and they like tried to do things around them. He's always very careful with how everything looks.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like like old movies with bad CGI, how bad they look.
Right. And I mean there's bad cheesy effects in here, but I think that they age well given the circumstances.
Certain effects do that, like a lot of practical effects, if they're done well, can
Right. Yeah,
time.
they can look better than they ever did in current time.
Yeah, because it's like actually Evil Knievel just wearing a It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Scott Glenn is also, he's like the guy who gets awakened to save everybody. You would know him as Stick from Daredevil, because all you know is Marvel stuff.
Yep. And I know that guy from something else, but yeah, that guy's cool.
Yeah, good guy.
I like him.
I think there might have been some other notable people in it. I don't know. It wasn't great. Scored by Tangerine Dream, as was Thief.
Nice.
Incredible score. That's really what it is. There's enough like good shots and good visuals. Like I said, he does a lot of just like expressionism stuff. So like it's a good movie that you could just like watch stoned, like,
Yeah,
I want to watch some cheesy thing, but it'll look cool and it'll sound cool. The plot is pretty dumb and literally, okay. Another example. So here's the thing. Like I've mentioned before, I'm never the guy who's raising my hand being like, I cannot believe the female representation in this movie. But like Michael Mann has some pretty egregious moments where it's just like, this isn't even real. Like you get where all that shit comes from. Because like if every movie was like this, which a lot of them are, which is the whole point.
Yeah.
But I always feel like in movies, it's like, oh, female characters aren't as bad as you say. But like you watch a Michael Mann movie, it's like, yeah, they're as bad as everybody says. Not this one's character isn't that bad, but literally Scott Glenn shows up, fucks her within like an hour. And she's like immediately just like in love with him, and he's like, oh, I'm not even a human being.
Wow.
I gotta go kill this dude, and I'm gonna die when he dies, or he'll kill me. But either way, I'm dead. So like, I don't know why you're being all emotional. And it was like, you definitely manipulated this chick. Like it was like it was bad.
The amount of things that were in movies.
Like regardless of quote unquote today's climate.
Yeah. How professional.
Like there's no way you wouldn't notice it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just happened to see the movie recently. If I saw it 8 years ago, I'd be like, holy shit.
Yeah, even then.
He just railed her and was like, yo, why are you acting like this?
I'm a mythical beast. Cool it.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know why you want a relationship?
Jeez, I'm a legend.
He's like, I was asleep for 200 years. I needed to get one out.
You'd be a little backed up too, bro.
Insane. But rentable on YouTube for like $2.99. So it's like, it was worth it.
Sounds good.
Now, also my thing with most of these movies, a lot of them were available on DVD for like less than YouTube rental prices. So I bought a lot of these. So I'm now a big Michael Mann DVD collector. Anyway,
Nice.
Number 8, The Insider. Didn't really like it.
Why is that?
Well, here's the thing. So this one was the one that has like the highest critical acclaim and was the Oscar darling and all this shit.
Darling.
Don't keep pointing it out.
Sorry. I just really like it.
Yeah, thanks, darling.
Hashtag Oscar darling.
It's a term already. I didn't coin it.
I know that. I'm just telling you I like it.
All
Good,
right.
like, good one. Like, nice kickflip. You didn't
Yeah.
invent it.
Yeah. Anyway,
Michael Mann.
so The Insider, Russell Crowe, Al Pacino, significantly toned down from his appearance in Heat, thankfully. But so it's about a whistleblower in the tobacco industry,
That's some dangerous business.
and then like a 60 Minutes producer and like his team trying to get the report of the whistleblowing out, because then that's what actually makes the whistle really get blown, is the media coverage. Anybody can just say some shit.
Yep.
you know.
Yep. Gotta get it out there.
So yeah, also a great thing Michael Mann does is he really just throws you in worlds. Movies will just start. You're just in the middle of some shit right away. And there's not a lot of, there's basically none in almost any minute of his movies, just like gratuitous shit or like pure just exposition bullshit where a character walks in a room and somebody's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "I'm Detective Tony this, I'm this, these are my kids, blah, blah, blah." Like there's no conversations that tell you any information.
I've been burned before.
Yeah, you always have to figure out exactly what's going on. Like there's no like direct things. Everybody speaks the way they speak already. Nobody's doing anything for you. So that's always nice.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
Which it can be hard. That can be the hard thing about watching his movies at home, though, is that like the beginning can seem slow because you're like, "Oh, what's going on?" Because you're not in a big theater, so you're not like overwhelmed by what's going on. You can kind of be like, "Oh, this is a little disorienting and slow. It's seeming." So that's how The Insider kind of starts.
Yeah.
A lot of things moving, and you're like, "What's this? What's this?" Talk about a horrific female character. I feel bad for the actress. I don't know if the actress is good or not, because, I mean, the things that she was given to do were just awful.
Yeah.
She basically existed just to cry and throw fits and be an emotional wreck.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like the complete opposite.
So
of
at the
comic relief.
beginning, Russell Crowe's character gets fired from his tobacco company. He goes home and tells his wife.
She loses it.
She loses it immediately in the driveway. She's like, "What about our insurance? What about our kids? What about this house?" They live in like a fucking mansion in Kentucky. He's like high up in big tobacco. So
Yeah.
they're like loaded.
High up in big tobacco and up to his knees in debt.
Literally all that he told her was that he got fired, and then she just breaks down, says all those things, and he's like, yeah, they signed like an agreement. What are those called?
An NDA, non-disclosure?
No.
Oh, severance?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I signed a severance package. I'm making like 2/3 salary, and we still have benefits."
So chill, please.
And then he just like gets in his car and drives away, and it's like, okay, we're off to a good start.
Might as well flick a cigarette and then a house blows up.
Yeah, and then like there's another scene. I don't know. So they start like threatening him and shit. They don't want him to leak any info.
Heard you wanted to tell us secrets.
That's basically the premise of the whole movie. So he's trying to not get fucking killed. He's paranoid. He's being scared. The other guy's trying to get everybody to publish the thing, but he did sign an NDA. So that's the workaround. That's the tricky part. So he's like trying to bide time until this report can get out. And then he'll be safe once it's out and the info's there. Then he'll basically be protected by being a public figure.
Yeah, because then he can't get assassinated.
Yeah, so the movie's set in like the downtime.
Oh, when everything's like really scary.
Yeah, and them setting it up to begin with. Like Al Pacino's character has to like talk him into it and like recruit him into it and stuff. And then like he tries to get the FBI involved, but the FBI is tied with big tobacco. So they like kind of want to fuck this guy over.
Wow.
So it's some interesting stuff, and there's like intense moments, but it doesn't play like a thriller. Kind of just plays like a drama, but there's like thriller parts to it, and those are the best parts.
Yeah, like,
But
who did that?
But then after X amount of time, that just drops off because they get the thing filmed. and then it kind of just becomes about the reporter guys for like the last hour.
Oh.
Oh, and then also his wife just leaves him. So this is
Oh, that abruptly, I bet too.
yeah, she just kind of walks downstairs and she's like, "I'm done. I can't do it."
Even though we're still making so much money.
Well, they weren't anymore at that point, but yeah,
'Cause
she
the
just
NDA,
bails
right?
on him. There was some other dumb conflict where she freaked out about something. Oh, they were like given security. She freaked out about that. He just wanted to wash his hands in the sink.
Is that like a metaphor?
Yeah, it was one of those things. But the thing is, all their interactions were just negative, toxic fights. That one didn't have any impact. It was just another. That one was just weird because it's like, oh, you guys are acting how you normally act towards each other because all you've ever done is cry to him and, scold him for something.
Yeah.
So now you just did it in a passive-aggressive way for no reason because nothing has been passive-aggressive the whole time. So you just had some weird fight about soap. And it was just like, dumb. It just didn't work.
It's like the only artful fight they had, but it goes unnoticed.
Right. Yeah, it was like supposed to say something about their marriage, but their marriage was clearly in shambles the entire time. Like, they didn't reveal anything. So it was weird. So she divorces him, which I was like, thank God, get this character out of the fucking movie. And that's what they did. Now, it was based on a real guy, so all this happened, but I assume that the wife was a little more supportive at some points of it.
I'm sure.
Yeah. I'm
Probably
gonna
was
give
not
that
happy
lady
with
some
her
credit.
portrayal.
Yeah, she was a mother to children. I'm sure she tried a little bit.
Oh, 100%.
And then yeah, that's really it though. It just kind of falls off. It goes from like having a little thriller vibe, and then it just goes into a drama about the TV guys, and then they like, we're gonna get it on the air, we're not gonna get it on the air, blah blah blah, bullshit back and forth, bureaucratic nonsense, and it's like, well, that's not nearly as entertaining as a guy getting death threats. So like the tone shifts off, and it's like, oh, there's still 40 minutes left, and now it's just like a TV behind the scenes drama. So kind of cool to see like a movie be that versatile, but I'm not that interested in the politics of CBS News.
Yeah.
If you
find yourself pausing it to see how much is left.
Well, and then the big happy ending is it aired the full version finally. And it's just like, oh, big victory. But the other guy's life is still totally ruined.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah,
like they don't even go back to Russell Crowe that much, and he was excellent. I'll give him that. I get why he is and was such a big deal. Pacino was really good too. Yeah, I think that's really all I have. There's a speech that Al Pacino gives Russell Crowe when he's like, so they were trying to like tarnish his name to discredit him, and it was like bullshit stuff. Like he got a speeding ticket. Like
unpaid parking tickets. Oh,
yeah, like some dumb thing like that. And then Al Pacino goes on this rant. He's like, they will search through all of your things, anything you've ever said, anything you've ever done. And I was like, all we need to do is have this be a meme and just have it be like people on Twitter, ... And then just have Al Pacino do that whole rant. Because that's just how everything is now. Like this guy was outing Big Tobacco and got that speech. Now it's just you say something somebody doesn't like.
Yep,
and
there you go.
Just watch that video.
And
it's they will search through all your history. They will tear you down. Like it is just
incognito means nothing.
It was hilarious. So I loved that. But I think that's really it. Like another thing with like decent moments, but whatever. So then we move to number 7. I got Manhunter.
Michael Manhunter.
So this was the first time we see Hannibal Lecter on screen by anybody. So
Which
that's
is cool.
interesting.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Brian Cox of Succession and many other things. Did a good job. Now this movie, another movie with a great, incredible synth score, as many of his movies do.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, it's really good. Now, we're talking really well composed shots and lighting and all this shit. This movie is gorgeous. It is like almost purely an art film. There's hardly anyone talking. One of the earliest movies to show like the psychology of a detective and a killer. So like a lot of modern detective shows are basically just ripoffs of Manhunter. A lot of modern movies are ripoffs of Manhunter.
A lot of dialogue of two cops in the car and stuff like that. driving from place to place.
No, that's been a thing. Again, it's more about the psychology of a detective and like a killer. Not at all what you said.
The cat and mouse kind of thing.
Yeah, things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like tracking each other.
Well, detectives are troubled men as well. Their lives are very difficult. They deal with gruesome things of that nature.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not two guys eating donuts. No, that's not what Manhunter is about.
Two sides of the same coin.
No. No, they're not two sides of the same coin. One guy's a psychopathic murderer, and one guy's a hero.
Troubled man. Hero.
Different reasons. Anyway, okay. I guess you've never watched anything. Again, so it's not like Spider-Man or
I haven't seen that one.
It's not like the Green Lantern either. Anyway.
That one blue.
Yeah.
Oh, blue. Did not do that on purpose.
Anyway. It's not the most entertaining thing throughout. It's definitely like lacking some stuff. Again, cool with like the silent-y thing. It's very artful, but it's not something you would just like want to watch all the time. It's also a little slower, a little weirdly paced. The killer is creepy as hell. He like kidnaps this blind chick.
That's brutal.
Yeah, because it like shows him as a killer, and then like he like works at this place as like a janitor, and then he like keeps interacting with this blind girl, and then he like starts dating her because she can't tell that he's a creepy motherfucker, and then he's like about to kill her. It turns into a whole thing. True Detective is very similar. Like True Detective basically ripped this movie off. Like the ending is very similar. The way the killer goes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about when you started talking about that show.
Yeah. So that's just kind of similar. Again, like he just throws in a sex scene at the beginning, like for no reason. Like before the detective's like retired because of the trauma of Hannibal Lecter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's the guy who caught Hannibal Lecter. That's why they call him back to get this new killer because like you're the best because he's the craziest.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'll do it, but like first I gotta fuck my wife.
Really,
Which is
really
like,
quick.
I guess that's probably what you would do, that's
That would
fair.
make more sense if he was getting in a spaceship.
But it's just like it doesn't, like it just doesn't really like fit the moment or the movie at all. So I find it funny though. I'm not like, oh my God, can you believe this exploitation? No, I think it's hilarious, but it's like we could have cut it out. We don't need it.
Yeah.
It doesn't add anything to the movie at all.
Maybe they put it back in because they needed a few more minutes.
But yeah, I don't know. There's just not a lot. So like again, it does explore like interesting things, but there's not a lot of like dialogue. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
It's like the Silence of the Lambs is better. I'm not a big Silence of the Lambs guy. I don't think it's like this landmark masterpiece that it gets the credit for. But it's better. And Anthony Hopkins is a better Hannibal Lecter. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, that performance is one of the best you've ever seen. So it's just like,
100%.
what can you say? But Brian Cox was good and like, all that. Also, Silence of the Lambs is just like a better story in this book series. Like, just clearly, like,
Yeah.
So.
It's the meteor part.
Right. But like this was a big springboard for a lot of things, and it's like influential. So it's higher up on the list for that reason, but yeah. So that's the back half. It's really like a 3-tier thing, but that's the end of like the lower tier anyway. Cuz number 6 we're at Last of the Mohicans.
All right.
So I wasn't very excited for this movie cuz it's like, oh, Native Americans, colonial things. That sounds boring. Another movie that had like award things, at least for actors and costumes or something. I don't know if Michael Mann got a nomination. A lot of the guys don't get the noms they deserve, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually how it goes. It's like stuff like this, reviewing it after the fact.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Michael Mann especially. He's got a couple that like had to age well. Like Manhunter is better received now than it was at the time. As is the case with other movies we'll mention. They could if they're actually updated, but it's more of just like
capturing it when it released.
I don't know, just more. It's about like if a journalist will revisit a movie and write an article about it later, and then maybe that'll cause somebody else to do the same thing, and then things like that'll happen.
Yeah, it's like, oh look, it's good now.
Yeah, and then it'll just cause more critics to reevaluate it, and then you just kind of gets a buzz from there.
Cool.
But Last of the Mohicans, so Daniel Day-Lewis, so I mean, just guarantees greatness, and he was fucking phenomenal. And this movie is not the period piece slog that I thought it would be. It is a period piece, but it is just people running in the woods, killing each other for like 2 straight hours.
Ooh.
There's like 3 or 4 stationary scenes where they have the weird little old-timey drama. Get to your post and run to this and blah, blah, blah. And somebody backstabs some guy because he's a little British slime bag in the 1700s.
You rotten scum.
Yeah, and they all just make dumb decisions and backstab each other for like 2 gold coins or whatever dumb shit happens.
But the rest is just murder ball?
Yeah, well, so basically what happens is they need to transport this British chick from like their army base to this place or vice versa or whatever, because the people that were transporting them got slaughtered by these like natives that are like super nasty.
Nice.
So Daniel Day-Lewis and his like half brother and dad.
3 people, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not his half brother dad. No.
You never know.
They transport the girl for the British in exchange for something. Blah blah blah. I don't know. But then that's basically the plot of the movie.
Cool. Are there muskets?
It's similar to like The Revenant, to be honest. It's traveling through a thing. It's not set in winter, but you know.
Good.
Don't act like that. No, we're not gonna bash The Revenant here.
No,
I love The Revenant.
That the winter doesn't make The Revenant a good movie.
Well, yeah, that's what The Revenant's about. But yeah, I get your point.
Thank you.
But yeah, this movie's just a lot of fun.
Sounds
to be honest, I don't really like things set in olden times, whether that be medieval through the 50s probably. I'm not really into anything set even before that.
Yeah. I like medieval stuff, but there's not a lot of good stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not.
Such a bummer.
Right. But this movie's good. It's just like an action movie. Like the pacing of it is incredible. The shots are incredible. Like tracking shots through the woods, just unbelievable battle and action sequences that are like long and sustained as hell. They look real as hell. Seems like he used like accurate things, makeup, language. Like he did it right. You know what? This is what I'm trying to say. Like across the board, did all the right things you would need for a story like this to not be incredibly either dull or like terribly done, seemingly very inaccurate. Like none of that. I believe everything that happens in it. Obviously, I don't even think it's a true story. I don't really know.
Probably not. A lot of those aren't.
Right. But regardless, it actually might be a true story. I don't know. But there's fabricated stuff in it regardless. Like it's a movie. Yeah. You know, he likes to do stuff like that. Anyway.
It's always a good starting point, like a true little thing, and then
yeah, it's good. I don't have any really specific notes, but it's just brutal. Like a lot of just graphic shit. Like it is a violent, epic, awesome movie.
Yeah.
And there is not a happy ending.
Well, it would seem out of place.
There is not a happy ending at all. Yeah. I mean,
not many back then.
Oh, yeah. I mean, none of these have happy endings though,
Seems like a theme.
Yeah, except Ali technically.
Yeah, I was going to say the only happy endings seem to suck, so.
Yeah, and the insiders wanted to be happy, but it's like, yeah, this guy's life got torn apart, but at least we got the thing on TV.
Yeah, everyone knows
like
now.
It's literally like Al Pacino walking out of the building and just putting his sunglasses on. Like, fuck yeah, we did it. It's just like, okay. Anyway.
Yeah, it's just like, you're welcome.
Number 5. Public Enemies. Now, 5 and 6 could have been swapped. I don't really know. I didn't rewatch Public Enemies, but I saw it in theaters. I was blown away when I saw it in theaters. Came out in 2009. And it is just a gritty ass crime drama about John Dillinger and, loosely other gangsters from the time.
Tommy guns and whatnot.
Yeah, Chicago shit. I remember, so at the time, I remember walking out of the theater and being like, I've never seen anything like that before. Because it was just the bleakest fucking movie. Mm-hmm. And again, incredibly well shot, all the same shit, like a technical marvel, you know?
Well crafted.
Yeah. The sequence, any action sequence is always so well done that, it seems like they just did it. Yeah. It doesn't seem acted. Johnny Depp plays John Dillinger. Great performance. Christian Bale plays the cop fighting him down. I mean, fucking incredible.
Yeah. Set him up.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really good. Same type of shit, accurate wardrobes, cars, dressed to the nines.
Digging the ties.
Yeah. And, another big budget one. So he went big. There's a lot of just crazy shit in it, and it is just gray. It's a very gray movie.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember that.
But I just remember thinking, I'd never seen such a, weirdly, artfully violent thing in the way that it is, because it is just so bleak.
Yeah.
But I don't mean that in a bad way. I do like it. I'm going to watch it again. I got it for $250 total, including shipping. So we got that on Blu-ray. I'm going to put that on soon. If I have a reevaluation, I'll update everybody.
There we go.
That brings us to number 4, Thief, his first movie.
All right.
James Caan, your boy Jim Belushi.
Yep, that's my favorite one.
Set in Chicago, uses Chicago beautifully, clearly a hometown guy. He did all this stuff. He said that what got him into film was just seeing, the dark Chicago streets and, water reflecting off the lights and stuff.
In movies or in person?
Just in person.
Awesome.
Bridges and underpasses and alleyways and, all the lighting and, night stuff. That's, just what got him into it. Because everything is pretty cinematic looking here.
Yes, very much so.
That's why if you watch my Wolfx Home Invasion video on the RFAT YouTube channel, you can see my similar influence.
It is really awesome.
Yeah.
Don't watch it.
I mean, you won't. What's the difference? They won't watch it.
But they could. For the Easter egg I put in it.
Thief. Now, here's the thing. So he's an ex-con who's a thief. He robs people. He only wants money or bonds or jewels or whatever. He's got a strict code. He owns a bunch of businesses now. He turned his life around. He has this mood board of things that he wants to acquire.
Oh.
And he manifests all his goals. Gets involved with the wrong people. Now here, his courtship of the woman is terrible, but it is probably what a guy who spent 10 years in prison would do, and especially given the time frame. So I give Thief a little bit more of a pass. But another terrible relationship, I gotta say.
Yeah, maybe not a terrible portrayal. It's just a terrible relationship.
Yeah. Now, this movie also is all about the shots. It is a beautifully shot movie. The Tangerine Dream score, it's all gnarly synths. Now, I saw an interview, he wanted to do blues because it was Chicago, and he's like, well, I didn't want it to be just a regional film.
Oh, yeah.
And a super synthy score, it does make it more of an art film. If it had a blues film, it would be more gritty, but it would be more forgettable, I think.
Yeah.
The synth is super explosive. Now, he owns the Green Mill in the movie. I don't know if at the time it was just in a lull. I don't know if the Green Mill is just not as famous as I think it maybe is. And so it was just believable that this guy could just own the Green Mill. Or if I don't know, if he was just fuck it, let's just have this guy own the Green Mill.
Do you think it's weird that they picked a real place to have this guy on?
I think it's weird that they picked that place because it's a legendary bar.
Maybe it's because instead of doing the blues soundtrack, it's here's a real Chicago shout-out.
Yeah, but that's a jazz thing anyway. It's not a blues bar. That would be like
It
Kingston
does-
Mines.
It's not about the same music. It's just like a Chicago nod. With
Well, the whole movie's in Chicago though.
yeah. So I don't. I
I'm
don't
just
know
saying
if
like that is such a how. Why would this guy own that famous of a bar? He's like an ex-con.
Yeah.
He acquired all of his businesses after he got out of prison. Like he had to build a new life, and he got it all through thievery.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is like, how would he end up buying that bar? It's pretty crazy. It would require a lot of money, is what I'm saying. Like
That-
you would think.
That's why maybe it's just a testament to the skill. Like I said. I haven't
No,
seen
because it's about him like he lives like a low key life as like a modest businessman.
it. Yeah. So it's
He's
not
like, oh, I just have a little bar and a little car dealership and
but
a
it's
humble
not a little
life.
bar.
Yeah, he's like,
Got
I drive a pretty nice car, but like, you know what I mean?
I get you now.
So that's what's weird. Also, what's cool is how though they blow it up at the end. So pretty
Oh.
sick. It was cool to see that happen. So I think that also might have just been the reason why, just so he could like blow it up. So that was
Nice.
cool to see, but also weird. Jim Belushi, look, he's not that bad of an actor. He was in Twin Peaks: The Return, but he's just the worst. He's so not funny.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, if we have to deal with Jim to have gotten John, so be it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Another thing, like accurate crime portrayal we've talked about. It literally shows how to crack a safe and like what is happening when you crack a safe. Every movie I've seen guys crack a safe, I don't know what they're actually doing. They're just drilling a hole in the safe, and I'm supposed to just assume that that's all you got to do. No, they like show you what they're actually doing when they're doing that. Like it goes through the layers of the safe and like explains all the shit. And I was like, holy fuck, this is incredible. Like there's a camera shot where it like goes from a super wide angle and it zooms like through the drilled hole and like it's awesome.
You see like the different turning things and stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And like same thing, so he like consulted with criminals and cops, like Dennis Farina, who is an actor, but he used to be like a Chicago detective. We'll get to with Heat. He was in Heat, I believe, but also a consultant on that. It's like based on a real cop and detective in Chicago and like a real story.
Incidents, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just incredible shots to incredible music, a lot of night shit, driving shit. Like the movie Drive kind of ripped a lot from Thief. Similar characters, arcs, a lot of the same things happen, to be honest. Like the girl somehow gets found out about, the guy goes after the girl. Like it's like literally a lot of the same things.
Wow.
And it also is interesting to watch like Chicago in the 80s, because like they meet up in a spot that would be like a spot where criminals would meet up, but now it's like a luxury location.
That's funny.
You know? Yeah. So it's just weird to watch that evolution.
A little time capsule.
Yeah. So then where is my page? Got it. So that moves us to number 3, Collateral. I saw this in theaters too somehow. I was 9.
Nice.
I don't know. Everybody wanted to see Collateral.
Your parents are rad.
Dude, it was Collateral.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not?
Tom Cruise against type. He plays an assassin. He has white hair for seemingly no reason other than it looks great. And it does look great. So I don't blame him. Jamie Foxx just crushing it. Jamie Foxx works with Michael Mann quite a bit. He was in Ali.
Yeah.
He was in this. He was in Miami Vice.
Miami Vice.
Oh, we'll get there. And pretty simple. He's like, movie takes place in one night in L.A. He's like, drive me to this place. Kills a guy. He's like, yeah, I fucking kill guys. You're driving me to kill all these guys tonight. Basically, there was a trial going to happen. He needed to knock off all the witnesses.
Wow.
Now, would anybody actually have this happen in one night? Maybe, like Walter White style when they did all the prison stabbings at once. But also, you'd probably kill the witnesses spread out over time.
Maybe they didn't have time.
Maybe there was a bunch of failed attempts. Yeah, like who knows? But still.
Sounds very Santa Claus-y to do it all in one night.
Yeah, right. Very convenient that this would happen.
Yeah,
You know. But also, who knows? Maybe this is how assassinations go down.
Probably all the lights were green for him then too.
Well, yeah, apparently there's a lot of continuity errors with like the city. So this is set in LA, so I don't know LA.
Or to be like, oh, that's not there.
Well, it's just that like they get from like one place to another place in an amount of time that is impossible, like even with no traffic in some cases, but also there just like never is no traffic. So that's also a flaw. It's just that like a lot of the time they're just driving with not a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
But now it is night again. I don't know, but I don't know how LA works. But that is a common complaint for this movie. But I don't know. Seems fine to me.
Yeah. Gotta be on the inside.
Not a lot to say though. I don't know. The movie's really memorable for things that I don't want to spoil.
Ah, nice.
It's like wrapped around in certain. There's
very-
like quotes that there's callbacks in the movie that are really clever. And they just have good dialogues together. Basically, as they're driving, like they kind of bond and have like a weird thing. Because Tom
Cool.
Cruise's character, I mean, he's a killer, so you know he's naturally very charming. That's just like a thing that goes with it. He's
yeah,
a
he's a good
sociopath.
vampire, too, yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of helps him with his life in a weird way. Like the thing is almost good for Jamie Foxx. Like it's traumatic, but it like it
like,
changes him.
You should just relax a little. Kind of like
No, it's the opposite. Yeah, but it's the opposite. It's that he's like very worried. So he's like driving a cab because it's like a safe thing, but he like talks about his dreams and all this stuff. He's got a girl and blah blah blah. And it's good. It ties a lot in. This movie like really nails like a relationship thing, and it has a good balanced story, and there's a lot going on that I really like. I really like this movie a lot. We're in elite territory here. Like starting at Mohicans, it's like I would watch all of these movies tomorrow again. Like the whole top 6 is like
Run it.
yeah, like we're talking B+ and up.
I want to see Tom Cruise.
It's a really good movie, and
It
he
sounds like it.
crushes
the fact
it.
that you're like, I'm gonna be careful how much I say about this movie. That's what I'm in.
Yeah. And like there's good cameos in it too. Like I don't want to spoil any of it, to be honest. It's a movie you got to watch. Everybody should watch Collateral because that's the general premise. That's all you really need to know. Cuz that's
Awesome.
The plot of it really is that simple. There's not a whole lot of extra shit going on. So it's similar to, it reminds me of Phone Booth. Have you ever seen Phone Booth?
I have seen Phone Booth.
With Colin Farrell, who
Colin
we'll
Farrell.
definitely be talking about.
Yeah. Even after the show.
Yeah, it's like think of it as like a broader, more expanded, obviously just all around better version of that.
Yeah, a mobile phone booth, right? So like, instead of
Yeah,
being
just
locked in
well, it's
one
just like
point.
it's just like here's the movie, go, and then you're just watching all this shit take place.
Now
It's
you're
like
in, you're whoa.
yeah, there's no other plot point. This is it. Like the story is uncovered in 5 minutes. Now you're just watching it unfold.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun ride.
Movies
And
that can do
literally, because they're just driving all over.
that. Yeah, that's like my favorite kind. What do you call that kind of movie? What's like that specifically? Like, is that a thriller? Always.
Yes. Well, this movie I would say is an action thriller.
And then like Phone Booth also, maybe not action thriller.
Just
not
a
lot of-
thriller.
yeah, because there's not a lot of moving. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I love movies like that. I just want to say that real quick.
Yeah, and I mean Michael Mann again, great night shots, always great car stuff, great gun stuff. Like he's the best all that. Like Tom Cruise is a psychopath anyway, who like only makes movies to do crazy training stunts.
You're a real jerk.
So like his tactical skills for this movie were unbelievable.
Awesome. He does
Like
do
he-
a lot of his own stunts, right? They
Yes,
said
he
did
does.
that
That's
for
what I
about-
just said.
I know. That's what I'm agreeing. I'm saying.
You said he
I'm-
doesn't do a lot of his own stunts.
No, I may have mumbled. I didn't. I
Oh.
was in the affirmative.
Well, yes, he
Yeah,
does.
because I remember just seeing like behind the scenes of some Mission Impossible stuff. They
Yeah,
just
yeah.
strapped
He
you to a
sprints
plane.
on. Yeah, he does all of it.
He's wild.
Yeah. And like if he ever has to learn a thing, like he learned how to fly a plane, he learned how to play pool, he does all that shit.
Awesome.
He's a psycho. And Jamie Foxx is just fucking excellent.
Yeah.
I think this was like a big movie for him. It may have been what got him Ray. He may have already done Ray. I think they might have both came out in the same year, and that's what it was. And it was like, now Jamie Foxx is a monster star. No,
Yeah.
never mind. That's wrong. But I think this might have been one of the movies that really brought him up as a dramatic guy. Anyway, he crushed it.
Yeah, he's awesome.
So shout out to both of those guys. We're gonna move on. Number 2, not what you would think I'm gonna say, but it's Heat.
Whoa.
A lot of people would put it at 1. Not me. Anyway. Heat, what can I say? I mean, it's 3 fucking hours long, and it seems like it's too long, but like, what would you cut? nothing.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that you could take out of it. It's Pacino. It's De Niro.
They all need their
I
own
mean, to
hour.
me, I don't see how there's even a debate. It's like, I get it. Everybody likes The Godfather.
We can stop making The Godfather.
But give me more Pacino where it's blowing you away. What, Dog Day Afternoon? Yeah, he was good. But I mean, like, the De Niro hitters that go on for just decades to come, and Pacino just becomes a hack, and he's terrible in this movie, but relentlessly entertaining, so it's okay.
Yeah.
But he's horrible. But, like, in the best way a good actor could ever be terrible, so, it's still good. But
Yeah.
he is just so over the top, blown out. Now, I heard on a Rewatchables podcast that the original storyline had him, like, heavily addicted to coke, and they cut out the, like, showing that part, so it's just implied that he's a cokehead, which he acts like a cokehead. But, if there could have just been, like, a sniff
Yeah, he could have
at the beginning, just like a bump. Give me one bump in one scene that implies he does it all the time, like right before he leaves the bathroom.
A nonchalant thing.
Yeah. Could have used that. I think that would have made it go a long way. But so Heat responsible basically for all the modern heist scenes. So again, another time Michael Mann just does something that changes everything.
Really paving ways.
Basically, the heist scene in this movie is the Dark Knight heist scene to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I guess it just is this also, and then results in the heist scene to open Grand Theft Auto 5.
Awesome.
These guys plow through an entire fucking city block, and it's like 20 minutes of gun combat, just like 3 dudes against the cops.
That's the best.
It is technically spectacular. Another thing, they had crazy like technical ops training. They all knew how to like reload assault rifles and like handle them and all that shit, and it was all
so everything
taken
looked
care
awesome.
of. Everything looked incredible.
Amazing.
And then also the opening heist is like they rob an armored truck. They pretty much ripped that off in the town. But
yeah,
well, they've pretty much ripped off things from Heat. Any movie that has a heist,
in little bites.
just
yeah,
or gigantically, like heists. It pretty much changed movie heists.
Yeah.
Forever.
What are you gonna do?
Michael Mann.
You can't undo it.
He's the best at it. But anyway, so the premise of Heat, like I said, it revolves around like a Chicago cop and villain thing. So basically, this guy was a robber. Cop knew it. He was like, "Stop, or you're gonna get fucking killed before you get arrested." Or arrested. He's like, "You try to arrest me, I'll kill you." He's like, "Well, I'll fucking kill you first. Like, don't think that we're friends." But so what happened was they met up and had coffee and like had that conversation face to face. He's like, "I'm after you." He's like, "I know. This is what I do." And he's like, "Well, this is what I do."
Wow.
And he's like, "Well, I won't hesitate." And he's like, "Well, neither will I." And they're like, "Okay."
Which one of us is getting the
And
tab?
so what the movie shows is Al Pacino's life is miserable and like rough, because he's like married and has a kid, but they have a lot of problems because he's gone. He's a fucking like homicide detective or whatever. So it's like
on the job,
yeah, and he's like high up. So it's a brutal thing and all that, and he like doesn't have a lot of money. And then like De Niro has like a super nice place, super nice car, super nice clothes, goes out to nice dinners, just has like a great life. And so it shows the contrast to like their two lives. Like their basic
crime pays, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Right.
It's like, oh, look, I'm so passionately trying to get you.
Yeah, and then they have the talk and they find out like, oh, we're basically the same guy. Like we just went down 2 different paths. Right? But then like, yeah, there are also shots that like juxtapose their lives after certain moments, and it's like one guy's is like, "Ooh, this is rough," and then the other guy's like sipping a drink, like having a good time.
Like
Yeah.
a cigar, that's exactly what I thought of, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just really good stuff. Like, I don't know, the cops are tailing them. They're able to get a tail on them in a clever way, but then like the criminals outsmart the cops in a way that you don't see coming.
Oh, like countertail.
Yes, exactly. And they don't reveal it on screen, like verbally, until it just happens. Like again, he's really good at that. He's like They don't explain what's gonna happen. You don't
It's
really,
not
you
like
never know
somebody
what's
going,
coming
I'm
next.
about to do a barrel roll.
Exactly. Tom Sizemore not playing a crazy guy is weird because he's a fucking crazy guy.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Although he does use a little girl as a human shield during the heist, so that's a little.
That's probably very
That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a character named Wayne Grow who's literally a serial killer. Is one of the subplots
Wow.
of Heat.
Literally a serial killer.
Yeah, he like murders hookers.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's just like in like a news crawler. It's like, oh, local hooker dead, and like we know who killed him or her.
No, they
Probably
show him murder a hooker once, and then it's revealed via the police finding the body that it's a thing. So
It's like a
yeah.
Oh.
So when I said this was based off of a TV movie, that TV movie, which similar to Twin Peaks, they made as it's like a long pilot that they made a movie if it didn't get picked up. Twin Peaks got picked up. This one didn't. So it just aired as a TV movie.
Yeah, they just used the long
So-
pilot and made a movie.
Correct. So this movie has a lot of those extra plot lines, is my guess.
Yeah, because it's trying to branch out.
Yeah, like it would into a series. So it has a lot of little extra things like that.
That never really get
But-
tied up.
Well, the Wayne Grow one, it is important that the serial killer thing is a thing because Robert De Niro's character spends the whole movie talking about like his code, and that's why he's a successful criminal. But he breaks his code to get his revenge on this Wayne Grow guy. And it's basically like, well, this guy's such a shitty guy that it's worth breaking the code to kill this guy because he deserves to die.
Yeah. Cool. That's usually what happens with kind of.
But also
like
like the
that.
relationship thing, terrible. The one with De Niro, literally, De Niro is the fucking best, and like, because the thing is like he helps with scripts and stuff, and he ad-libs stuff, and I don't know if this is one of those moments, but it's just like this is such a De Niro moment. The way he meets his girl in the movie is he's just like at a diner. And she's like, what are you reading? She recognized him from the bookstore, she reveals after this interaction. But she's just like, what? She just like asked him a couple questions. She's like, oh, what are you reading? What's that? Blah, blah, blah. Like real quick. And he just looks at her and he's like, lady, why do you care who I am or what I do and what I'm reading? Like, you know what I mean? Like shit like that. And next he's railing her in a couple hours. And it's just like, De Niro's the fucking man.
Yeah. Well,
He's like
Yeah.
about to fucking shoot a woman in the face in a cafe for asking questions.
so powerful.
But yeah, she like, I mean, he literally they massacre like 30 cops after this heist in the middle of the city, and then he convinces her like, "Nah, I'm not that bad of a guy." And, like they have like a massacre. Also a little bad timing thing, like Al Pacino's like sprinting like 2 miles, and they just have to walk from like the door to the car, and they tried to make it like a timing thing,
Yeah.
but it's way too long of like running versus like they could have just got in the car already.
Yeah, it's like them like, okay, you got your keys, your wallet.
Yeah, it's like it's not actually simultaneous feeling at all. If that's the worst part, I would say. Oh, and Pacino just like when he picks up that girl as a human shield, Pacino just shoots the fucking guy.
Wow.
He just like squares up and just goes for it, which would never happen. And then he just like puts the gun down and he's like, "Yeah, where'd they go?" Like
Well, because his hand started shaking.
it was the greatest shot like in the history of marksmanship.
Yeah.
And he probably still should have got in trouble for that shit.
Oh yeah. at least they
It
drug
was insane, but not that important.
test. Reckless endangerment.
But like all the side plots in this movie, it almost reminds me of like Mulholland Drive, which was a similar thing. It was also originally going to be a television show that was then rewritten into a movie, so slightly different. But same thing, like those side plots, and like everybody's got a family and all this.
Yeah,
but
so many characters.
That's what makes this movie different and special. Because why else would I be rooting for these guys? It shows that like they're people too, and then blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah, it really gets you in there.
Yeah, because then also showing Al Pacino's home life, he's like a fucking mess and an asshole, and it's like, well, his life is fucking horrible too. Like, why would I be rooting for this guy to catch them?
Yeah.
You know, and blah blah. It just like shows the back and forth and like the nuances of each side and all that.
Yeah, how it's like perspective based.
And like the scene when they're in the diner together having the talk finally,
yeah,
just incredible.
sounds great.
It's just incredible. And then like Danny Trejo's in it. All the there's a million people pop up and you're like, "Holy shit, he's in here. He's in here. He's in here."
Some real hitters.
Real hitters. I mean, you can't even begin.
Wouldn't even try. Can't top that.
Yeah,
Except
except with Miami Vice.
whoa,
Miami Vice is number 1.
Dang.
I think that's all my Heat stuff. I don't know. You can't. Here's the thing. Look, Heat's a good movie. It's 3 hours. It doesn't touch Miami Vice. Miami Vice is a fucking masterpiece. Heat is also a fucking excellent movie.
It's a ranking, so it doesn't mean Heat is bad.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Miami Vice, troubled production, never good. Usually that means the movie's going to suck.
Okay.
That always means people assume it's going to suck. It hurts the box office. This movie bombed. The budget was insanely large. It kept going up. Because they kept going over because they did just the craziest stunts.
Yeah, I love how you can go over on a movie budget. Like, just buy an extra boat and hope you don't get in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Amazing.
A lot of helicopter shots, a lot of boat stuff. They were just going to other countries
I wonder
doing
what
insane
their zip
stuff.
line budget was.
A lot.
Tons, dude. I bet.
They spent $40,000 on Colin Farrell's hair, probably.
Oh, 100%. Other than that, I believe it's CGI, which probably makes it cost more. No way it was that perfect.
Look, it is. I saw a thing
It's like a helmet, right?
that described this movie as a $150 million art film.
Wow.
And I agree. We want to talk about beautiful shots and like carefully crafted and all this shit. Like it is just across the board, just so well made. Every single thing is gorgeous.
Yep. Yeah. Visually stunning.
They
all
use
that.
like special tech to film at night, and it's like a different kind of night the way this movie looks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can still see, but
It feels like what Miami would be like.
I wouldn't be able to. I don't know, but
It also shows you like what drug trafficking looks like from the entire thing, like starting from Colombia all the way through to America. Like it shows the whole process. These guys are flying planes, driving boats, driving cars, blowing shit up. Guys are getting shot with 50 caliber sniper rifles,
Ooh.
and it's as realistic as you could think it would be. Like it seemed like that shit would fucking kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Normally, a guy gets shot with a gun, no matter what size the gun is. It happens the same way in every movie. No, that guy had a fucking house rifle,
Yep.
and he got shot from not like that thing can shoot a couple miles. It was only a few hundred
A
feet.
couple miles. Yeah, like those things can go.
He got hit from a couple hundred feet, and it almost
Overkill.
blew up his car. The bullet was so powerful.
Yeah.
And yeah, just a lot of shit like that. A lot of realism again.
It's got a new sunroof.
They talk in clever bits or just mumbled,
Yeah, very
gritty, gritty, drugged out, whatever.
Uh-huh.
They're just trying to fuck chicks and
Hey, I know what
sell drugs for the police to recover.
Yeah, like they don't actually care if they make like they're not selling drugs to make money or anything like that.
No,
they
they're
have
they're
to
but they're
maintain
just
their
like
cover.
so undercover that they're like that about it.
They probably have like a dime bag in their wallet,
I mean, he fucking confronts the dude with a grenade.
which is pretty cool.
I mean, here's the thing. I could go over every single scene in the movie and just talk about how much I love it because they just nail it.
Yeah,
Colin Farrell looks fucking incredible.
it's so funny how good he looks.
With that mullet. Here's the thing. I remember that
It's
he
all
got
business.
clowned for it at the time. It wasn't a good look at the time. Nothing about this movie did well at the time. It was like panned, not panned, but
Yeah, but wasn't it just trying to recreate the look of the original character?
yeah, kind of, but modernized it. So that was the thing. Like we talked about at the beginning how Miami Vice was like the most 80s show ever. Well, he wasn't trying to like make an 80s movie. He was trying to make Miami Vice, which what Miami Vice is Miami in the present.
Yeah.
So what he made was the most 2006 movie ever.
Yeah, that's fair. And there's probably a bunch
Like
of
that's
dudes running
why
around like that.
there's a bunch of
2006.
like new metal style like rock music throughout it cuz it's about like what's current.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't want to make a bunch of homages to the series. He was just trying to revitalize it, which is like, oh, look at this guy thinking creatively about a reboot. It's like, thank fucking God, you know?
Yeah, like if we're gonna keep doing reboots, please.
Well, back then it wasn't even a thing, really.
Oh, the reboot fest had not begun.
No, '06, not really. I mean,
No.
I'm sure that there was a few, but it was more of a niche thing.
Yeah.
But
That's
I'm pretty sure
awesome.
that this was like a big deal. So then like the troubled production made it an even bigger deal, and it's like, oh my God, this movie's a fucking disaster. So like basically what happened was Jamie Foxx won an Oscar for Ray, but he was like already signed on for this.
Already
And
signed.
then he kind of got egoed up, and he was like, well, okay, I'm a big dog. You better
Yeah.
fucking pay up. So I think they had to like change the money around. And Colin Farrell was, a big tabloid guy, so like that was a big factor.
Yeah, like
And then but Jamie Foxx was like, I don't want to do this, this, and this, and like I guess Michael Mann had some problems with people and stuff. And again, like it went over time, budget, all that shit. None of that things ever sounds good. And then I guess like shit was just like so crazy when they were in South America that Jamie Foxx was like, I'm not even doing this anymore. It's like we're filming, this movie ends with us in America or it ends without me.
wow.
And so they had to like change the ending. My guess is all they did was move the ending over. Like they came up with a reason to move it over and it's the same ending. I doubt that they completely changed the whole ending, but
Yeah, just added an escape.
the report is that Michael Mann said that the original ending would have been a lot better. So maybe it was pretty crazy. But I also really like the ending of this movie, so I'm not upset, but I am curious. I do think the director's cut is better. It adds like a couple scenes only, but they're good for the movie.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna watch a movie that you missed the theatrical release for, I would skip straight to the director's cut probably.
Yeah, I think you should watch both though, regardless. Unless you know that there are minimal differences. I think you should watch the director's cut and then look up what the differences are.
Yeah, or maybe just look them up first and see.
No, because then spoilers, just in case.
I
Come
didn't
on.
even not think of that.
Come on.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, what more can be said? Look, the score to the movie is great. The soundtrack to the movie is great. Every shot is incredible. The night stuff, the speed, Colin Farrell looks great. They're throwing bits at each other. See, here's the thing. They're not like buddy cops, which I think in Miami Vice, they're like buddies more.
Yeah, like closer and more cheesy jokes.
Yeah, whereas this movie, they're more like distant. They're just like so deep in their cover that they're just like they only talk strategy or hardcore bits to be intense with villains.
Yeah, just to fill
Like
the
they
air.
team up when it's important at this point because they're just like so in it. They're just like such an intense mode.
They've got
So
full-time
it just would have
jobs.
been cooler to see those guys interact in like somewhat more of a fun way, I guess, because they're both so fucking good in it.
Yeah,
Like I fucking love Colin Farrell now.
I know. Yeah,
Like Colin Farrell in this movie might be like the peak of humanity.
it's definitely a sight to see. That's for sure.
That guy is just a big fuck machine.
Yeah, fuck factory.
And I don't know what Michael Mann's thing is with appeasing to China, but
Is that a thing?
well, so Black Hat takes place a lot in China, and there's like famous Chinese actors in it, and the female lead in Miami Vice, that Asian chick, is from China.
Nice.
She's like a big star in China,
Yeah, I've seen her in other movies.
but there's like no reason for her to be Chinese in the movie. It's like that's cool, but she is out of place, I would say. Like her accent is incredibly thick.
yeah,
And it's just a little, like they don't have any chemistry. The thing is like
Makes the money
they
move.
just like see here's the thing. That's where it flaws again. Like they just start fucking and I guess it's like technically they're both just international drug traffickers in like the middle of Miami and like Cuba and shit. So it's like I guess it probably would be that easy for them to just start fucking like as outlaws.
Yeah, because they're both established
But
as, like, not henchmen, so.
yeah, but like the way that it happens is just it feels very inorganic because that it's supposed to be implied that they're clearly vibing, but they have no vibe.
Yeah.
But then once they actually start fucking, it's like, yeah, well, they're both really hot, so this works now.
Yeah, it's believable
But
now.
Yeah, the lead up, you guys didn't. Neither of you seemed interested.
Yeah, it didn't seem. It seemed like.
But
it
here's
was
the
gonna
thing:
get
you
shut
give me
down.
any shot of Colin Farrell just looking, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
It's a tripping hazard. It's a real.
Yeah,
funny
but anyway,
hazard.
big gun out at the finale. Look, all the side people. Justin Theroux's in it. Dom from Entourage and The Wire's in it.
Yep.
I mean, just hitters.
Yeah.
And
Real sluggers.
yeah, the end thing is crazy. There's a whole Nazi thing at a trailer park that's crazy. Shit blows up. There's brutal violence, beautiful shots, like great music. It is just a masterpiece.
Beautiful. Violence,
It is
brutal shots.
the perfect action movie. Because it's like so beyond, and you don't even think of it as that, but like so much shit happens. But it's just so stylish and cool and like well paced and.
Yeah. We didn't finish it, but I'm.
Well, we're gonna go right
immediately
back
hooked.
to it.
Immediately.
I just
hooked.
we had to start recording before I got a little sleepy, just in case.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But I'm talking
had to have my manic energy for the list.
for the manathon.
Yeah, 'cause Michael Mann's the man.
Man. Yeah, he really is. I'm so sold, and then especially hearing all these too. So definitely should have watched more of these beforehand.
You mean any of them? You should have
More
watched
of them.
any of them.
I've technically seen some of these already. Just so long ago.
Some of one of them.
No, I've seen some of them. Oh yeah, some of most of them actually over time, but never like you know how it is. Like oh yeah, I've seen a movie, but you haven't watched it.
Yeah.
Which is what I would like to do now, 'cause that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to that pretty soon. I think that's pretty much gonna wrap this up. That has been the Michael Mann official episode and ranking. Once again, I'm flipping through my pages here.
The Michael Manic episode.
To recap the Michael Mann ranking, 11-1. We got Black Hat 11, Ali 10, The Keep 9, The Insider 8, Manhunter 7, Last of the Mohicans 6, Public Enemies 5, Thief at 4. Almost made it through the list. I tried to fight through the burp, couldn't do it. Thief at 4, Collateral 3, Heat at 2, and Miami Vice at 1, a masterpiece. Probably in my top, I'm going to say 10 to be safe, but maybe top 5 favorite movies of all time.
Just movies now. Like,
Yeah, I
like in
love
that
it.
Category, yeah.
I love it. I think it is fucking amazing.
I can see why.
And I'm glad that it has been revisited, and a lot of people have been saying the same thing.
But
And I hope that only continues to happen, and I hope we're looking back.
I like when movies have flip phones as their primary cell phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like the integration.
There's so the tech is very outdated in it is one of the things, but it's not used enough. Like they use it the amount that people used it back then, which wasn't that much. So it's
Yeah.
not that bad. And also the whole thing is detective and international drug stuff. So it's like nobody really would have needed or used computers for any of this anyway. You want to be low tech.
Yeah,
So it's like these guys probably would have just had burner phones anyway, you know?
which is what I like. I don't like.
The worst, I guess the only thing that's the least thing is like the cops don't have enough tech
Yeah.
for what would be modern. You know what I mean? Like that's the most dated thing about it, but like for when they're undercover and all the traffickers. Yeah, I think it just ages it all aged decently.
Yeah.
I think it'll continue that way cuz regardless it's like low forms of cell phone and video stuff, but that's still stuff we're all used to, so it's not like
Yeah,
it's
there's,
foreign
like,
stuff, it's just
thermal imaging
primitive.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It's all legit, but
And yeah, he sent them on like fucking stings and shit.
Like
They
to
were like
watch them?
fake. No.
like to go through like sting.
They had
magnets
like
and
Colin
training?
Farrell, Jamie Foxx like with vests and guns like on raids.
Awesome.
This movie is like as real as like stuff seen. Like you know what I mean? It seems like they're doing all this shit. And like just the sweeping shots across the ocean, like these helicopter shots, and they like cranes down from the sky like to the boat.
Oh yeah.
It is just like holy fuck. I love it when they just give artists money and let them go do shit.
Absolutely, or at least give him a blank check.
Yeah, those are my favorite scenarios, and that is absolutely one of them. And this has been the Michael Mann episode of Requiem for a Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed it. Rate, review, subscribe. You heard all the plugs at the beginning. Go back and listen to them again. I don't want to repeat them. For me and Georgie Richter, peace out. We'll be back next week. I don't have a topic yet. Maybe it'll be nothing. Who knows? We'll see. I don't care.
Works for me.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Just remember, I are fat, you are fat, we are fat. Calculator.